Welcome to Eternal Paradigm, Series 1. What have you learned? What have you discovered? And what have you unlearned about yourself? Eternal Paradigm aims to uncover the reality of human experience by exploring physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual stories through numerous conversations with guests in this first series, through my own personal insights, observations, and reflections. Eternal Paradigm has been asking some big questions, and so have all the guests who have joined me. My name is Ermi, and I have been the host. Are you ready to join me on this journey? Welcome to Series 1. This is the roundup episode. I invite you to listen to these questions and spend time answering. Answer the ones that really resonate with you. Feel ready to explore. Be open. Be curious. Be inquisitive. And it's okay if you don't know the answers. That's what makes you human.
Where we talk about the values and meaning, and I would pose the question, what do you think is the meaning of life? And we had excellent discussion about that, so I would ask that to your audience, what do you think is the meaning of life?
How can I live
That
the
is
most
something that I
fulfilled
would
life
like
that I
to
want to
leave with the
live?
listeners.
That's probably the most fundamental.
Natalie Constante.
What would you do if you can work in something that you fulfill the most? How would you contribute to the world, and how does it help you to achieve all your goals?
Amanda Bonfito.
Yeah, actually, this might be a good point to mention. I'm kind of working on the concept for a podcast of my own, and it's going to be called This Won't Break You. And what I really want to know about is the hard stuff we go through and how it doesn't have to break you, and how do people, process through it in such a way that they can continue to live fully and not shut down. So I would love for everyone to think about the hard stuff and how it helped them thrive in some way.
Maria Adriana.
Oh, that's the most gorgeous question. A question asking a question. Wow. You're brilliant. Your wonder never ends. I love it. Yes, okay. So the question I have to you, beloved listener, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I invite you to play with this question. What would you do? What would you think? What would you feel? What would you be if you always honoured yourself? That's the question.
Athena Crilly.
I would love to know whether other people follow the law of attraction. That would be really interesting, because I feel like more and more people are kind of talking about manifestation and reaching your dreams and your desires. So do you follow law of attraction, or is it something that you've read into?
Karishma Sharma.
Yeah, I think what I would like to ask is, if you were to continue with how you are, does that make you truly happy? Are you connected to who you truly are underneath all those layers? Are you connected to the true you? And if you aren't, are you willing to do the work to get to the true you? That is something that I would like to leave with the listeners, because connecting in with who you truly are means doing all the work to release all these limited beliefs and all this programming, and do a lot of the reprogramming, and just really getting deep into a lot of stuff that people tend to want to leave behind. So it's just something that I like to get people thinking about, is, are you connected with the true you? So yeah, that's what I would like to leave people with.
Krish Patel.
The question is, how can I live the most fulfilled life that I want to live? That's the question, fulfillment. How can I live the most fulfilled life that I want to live? That's probably the one most fundamental question.
Tig O'Shea.
Okay. how feels most natural to express yourself creatively? That's one to think about. For some people, I'm sure there's an obvious answer like music or art or anything, but for anyone that doesn't have that, I feel like everyone does have that. Some people just haven't discovered it yet. What do you think?
Angie, Gira.
Question. A question I would say is, if you had a magic wand and you had the power to be anywhere, do anything, be anyone, what would that look like? Paint that picture with your wand.
Rohit, Raval.
You just begin to question more in life. What are we here for? How comes we're here? How come there's no end to the world? How is this even real?
Dr. Karen Bryson.
Oh, yeah. So this is a question I used to ask when I first started teaching. There wasn't online classes really, so that really didn't exist in the market. So I was 100% teaching in person. And I used to always have a part of the class where we'd talk about the values and meaning. And I would pose the question, what do you think is the meaning of life? And we had excellent discussion about that. So I would ask that to your audience. What do you think is the meaning of life?
Yana, Lara.
I told myself, what do you want? As you walk down this journey, what do you want?
Peter, James, Lee, Ching.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I would think the question would be, why do you feel you're not worthy of it? And find out the reason why and prove it wrong.
Shamir, Raval.
All the big companies are on it, even the small cafes, everywhere is on it, is on the vegan meals. Why? Because customers want it. That milk that should have gone to that baby calf is going to you. Why? You don't need it.
Tony, Dada.
The people that are not able to be fluid and flexible have their mind set a certain way. And who's to say that the way that your mind is set is the right way or the best way for your growth? See, the ability or inability to be flexible is the problem that many people find in the West.
Vicky, Oldani.
Well, it's very similar to the answer I gave when Trish asked that on her podcast. What advice would you give to anybody of any generation for life or whatever? And I really would have to say that I would say to anybody, if I had their listening ear, have you ever considered that you lived your life and every year in it and every struggle because you yourself were supposed to accumulate the wisdom you need to go on living, and that you have it? And have you ever considered relying on it a little bit more and stop looking for the answers everywhere else and start listening to yourself a little bit? It would be a challenging question because that's kind of a new concept for people. But you have inner wisdom. We were meant to glean understanding from our experiences, and we were meant to have them as tools to get us through. And I'm all about finding tools elsewhere, but I think we undervalue the God within. So find it, I guess, challenge somebody to really believe in themselves that way.
Lucy, S.M. Johnston.
I would say, actually, probably I can contextualize that with lockdown and how it's made me think about things and reassess life choices and really the direction of where you want to go, because it has acted like a lot of a reset, especially when you've lost jobs that were kind of paying certain amount that you could, is what are you waiting for? When will be the right time? I mean, there's a very interesting, I think we touched on this last time, where, and to paraphrase, as quite a few politicians have, including Ronald Reagan and things like that, if not me, who? And if not now, when? This is actually from its origins, and again, I'm a bit wishy-washy about this because I haven't read the background too much of it, but it was from Hillel the Elder, who was a Jewish leader, who this actually comes from. If I am not for myself, who will be for me? And being for my own self, what am I? And if not now, when?
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's a really powerful quote to think, what are you waiting for? If there is a change or something that you feel you're not doing that you want to, I know it's very difficult to set the wheels in motion, it's quite complex, but when? We have this one tranche of life before we become vapor. What then? Now you're water, you're liquid, you can run anywhere. You can make a new channel to run down. What channel are you going to let yourself run down or carve out through the earth before you evaporate?
Kalia Quinoris.
Oh man. So I'm going to cheat since I'm also a podcaster and I have a few closing questions that I use for my podcast. My new thing right now is asking people what lights you up. Because if you really get to the root of things and think about what makes you happy, that's what the world needs. The world doesn't need another accountant or dog walker or all these other things. They need people who are simply just doing what makes them freaking happy. If you're emulating that light that was given to only you, the things that make you light up, then the whole world is going to receive that light and warmth. Nobody's going to ask, well, how did you get there? What are you doing to do it? They're just going to know that you're living in your complete happy state. So what lights you up? Dogs light me up, but let's get deeper than that. I like also asking the 7 whys to unfold the depths of things. So why do dogs light you up? Because they're awesome companions. Why are they awesome companions? And just keep unfolding all the way down to the end of what truly lights you up and why. If you're not doing it, do it. Do the thing is the most important part.
Camilla Miller.
Yes, you're so right with language of listening. It is not only a parenting model, it's a self-coaching model. The first step, we all say that all behavior makes sense. All behavior makes sense. Even when I was shouting like a complete lunatic woman, all behavior made sense. So rather than beating myself up, thinking, oh my God, I've got it wrong, is to ask, why am I shouting? Or why am I behaving in a way that I don't like? And when you understand why behavior makes sense and why your behavior makes sense, you can then find another way to get that need met in a way that you do like. And so it comes back to why. You could ask yourself, why am I shouting? Or what's showing up that you don't like in your life for yourself or for your children? And ask yourself, why would I do that? Or you could ask yourself a question based for your child, which is, why would my amazing, gorgeous, wonderful child do that? Why does that behavior make sense? When you come from that place, you come from a place of curiosity, you come from a place of finding answers rather than judgment, rather than labeling ourselves or labeling our children. And that's when we get to the real understanding of what is going on and how to change that in a way that works for you and for your child.
Simon Rogers.
It requires a real quietening down of the outside world and for you to tune into what is going on inside of you. What is the experience for you? And that's where the focus has to then be, which is quite hard for people in general, but particularly if you're somebody who's very sensitive.
Eva Mehus.
Before, when I was out with friends, I would always search for new acquaintances, meeting new people, because I was always searching for something cooler, something better. Instead of just being in my circle with the friends that actually wanted to go out with me or be with me and just having fun in that situation, I was constantly searching for something better, which meant that the people that I was out with very often felt like I wasn't present. And when you try to meet someone in a social setting or something, that never becomes more fun or deeper than the actual people who are there who do care about you. So I ended up losing on both sides. And it's a bit strange that I haven't realized that that was what I was doing and that it wasn't leading anywhere. Because I kept repeating it for so many years. And why didn't I just stop up and think, okay, this isn't actually working. I'm hurting those people who care about me, and these other people, they don't really care.
Oh.
But you know what I mean?
Jay Waring Spillers.
I guess I would say, why are we here and what is our purpose in this world, both collectively and individually? Because I'd say the purpose for us collectively is to learn and to grow, and then also to love and experience love, both in terms of us loving others and being able to experience love from others. That's sort of the collective purpose in life. But what does that mean for individual people? What are you here to learn and grow about? And how can you grow and experience love in your own personal life, where does that lead you in terms of your calling as a human being on earth? So that's maybe what I would ask.
Benson Fox.
Yes, I would say this. I would say, what part of yourself have you or society convinced you that you need to cut out or get rid of, eliminate or suppress in order for you to move on, to create happiness and be the best you? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it your past? People say, oh, you gotta leave your past behind. Let go of your pain. Do you need to let go? Or maybe you need to let it in. Maybe you need to integrate it, let it into yourself. That's the question I'll say. And I'll say maybe you should be a little suspicious of people who tell you that you need to cut off your arm in order to move on.
Nicola Melly.
Ooh, do I have a question for the listeners? Do you know what? I think we're going to start with the question that you asked me. Who are you?
Oh.
I guess it's something that I touched on very briefly, but one of the things that I realised is like, who are you? Who are you? What are you made up of? If you listed all of your personality traits, the things you think you are, the stories of your life, who told you that's how you are? How did you come to think that that is how life is for you? And what happens if you dropped all of the personality, all of the constructs of who you think you are? Who are you? So I guess that's the question. If you dropped all of the constructs of your personality and who you think you are, who are you?
This autumn, you will be able to hear the new series of Eternal Paradigm with a whole array of fascinating and interesting guests lined up to share their stories and to help you on your personal growth journey and in this exploration of your human experience. You can find out more about the Health and Holistic series that's currently being recorded. You can get more information on the website and via our social media channels. If you'd like to be a guest on Eternal Paradigm, visit the website eternalparadigm.com. You can also contact me via Instagram or Facebook. Share your story because your story has the power to transform others.